All right, so do you remember this formula from yesterday's video? This basically just breaks down how the take-in rate is calculated. Your take-in applications, meaning the customer pays, divided by the submitted applications, meaning the total applications that you submitted, not the number of people you submitted, but the applications that you submitted of underwritten policies. So Premier Choice, Secure Advantage. That equals your take-in rate. Okay? You have 5 applications taken out of 10, that's a 50% take-in rate. Easy math. Let's talk about how important this is, what the impact is going to be on your income in regards to your take-in rate. We're going to take a look at 2 high producing FTAs. One is Lester, one is Richard. Okay? Both are submitting $1 million a year, high producers, which is 220 applications at a $4,500 average using Premier Choice and a MedGuard. Lester has a 50% take-in rate, so 220 apps, it's got about 110 that are taken, right? Richard has a 70% take-in rate. This is what their income looks like. Holy cow. Lester made $84,183 off that. Not a bad income, but for $1 million producer, come on. Richard, $144,926. Do you see that that's over a $60,000 a year difference in income? Or $5,000 a month? Can you use $5,000 a month? I could. How much more does Lester have to submit than Richard to make the same amount? The $144,000? He'd have to submit $1.7 million instead of $1 million. It's good to be rich. So, what does Rich gain? He gains 70% more in advances, 40% more in his earnings, 40% larger association bonuses, 40% more stock in the company, 40% more to the lead fund, and a significant increase in his production bonuses. One of the myths is high producers don't have good take-in rates. High producers do have good take-in rates. My take-in rate isn't that important. Well, actually, we're going to go into some details on this stuff. I do have control or influence over my take-in rate. The take-in rate calculation is based on a per policy basis, and saving a customer by selling a secure access does not help my take-in rate. It does help your client and your earnings. So there are lots of high producers who have a good take-in rate. Of course, it's important, and you do have control over it. And we're going to talk about that. The take-in rate calculation is based on a per policy basis, not on a per person basis. Okay? So what that means is for every policy you submit. So if you submit a policy for Joe Smith with a Premier Choice, and then you submit a policy for Joe Smith on a Secure Advantage, and neither one of those gets approved, that's 2 hits on your take-in rate. Okay? Saving a customer by selling Secure Access, it does not help your take-in rate. Secure Access is an association. It's not an underwritten health insurance plan like we talked about yesterday, so it does not help your take-in rate. Let's see how you have influence over this. All right, so company monthly averages. 20% of policies are withdrawn, 10% are not taken, 13% are declines, and 57% of submitted apps actually have made a payment. Okay, so this is a company-wide basis. This is okay, so let's see how we have influence over our take-in rate. Okay, this is a company monthly averages. On an average basis, 20% of policies are withdrawn, 10% are not taken, 13% are declined, which leaves 57% of submitted applications actually make a payment. So, withdrawns. Let's take a look at what withdrawns are. 20% of total submittals. 43% of applicants failed to complete their V-call. 38% due to an applicant request. 10% due to a partial issue or underwriting with requirement. And 9% medical records were not received. So right here, you've got an 81% potential influence to get, if you get your people to the V-call, and you get the applicant to understand the policy before you submit it. Shouldn't have an issue with people withdrawing the policy. This is our biggest problem on our team as well, is that people are withdrawing their policies either by failing to make the V-call, or they just say, hey, I'm out, I don't want the policy to go into effect. Okay. Partial issue rejection, what that means is if they give a rejection on one of the people, then the other person's saying, no, I'm not going to take it because you didn't take my husband. That's something that you got to prevent ahead of time. You got to tell people, hey, if you get this policy and your husband doesn't get accepted, we have another option for you, so go ahead and accept that policy and we'll go ahead and take care of your husband with a different way. 9% medical records not received. Of course, that's an APS is sent out. They're not receiving the APS. You can influence that by helping your client find a way to get that APS handled for you. Not takens, okay, 10% of all submittals. 50% of policyholders that are non-taken are not happy with the coverage or the rate. 40% changed their mind and went elsewhere. 10% we couldn't get the money from them and or there was no reason given. Okay, so 50% of policyholders not happy with the coverage or plan. We shouldn't have submitted the application then. We needed to find out from them whether or not they were happy with the plan before we submit the application, obviously. Change your mind or went elsewhere. Sometimes that's hard to affect, but if you have a good relationship built with them, if you have a friendship or just some kind of common ground that you have with them, they're not likely to do something like that without contacting you first. 90% influence opportunity is those two we just talked about. Okay. Tips on improving it. Okay. Taken rate is calculated by a policy and not by the customer. So again, I've already explained that. Take advantage of all the presentations that are on the agent website and learn the inner workings of the taken rate. Focus on completing the sale. Okay, so here's a part that I really want to focus on for us. When is the sale completed? When you get the application, when you get the bank routing and account number, when you get the V-call done, when is that policy actually considered to be completed for us? I believe the policy is completed when the person's been on the policy for a month. They've made the first month's premium, they're going ahead to make the second month's premium. So you should be servicing that customer at least up until that point, so that you've got a happy customer in their second month on that policy. Once that's done, you've got a completed sale. Okay? If you focus on that being the finish line, then you're not dying before the end of the finish line, right? You're running all the way through that finish line. You're getting all the way through that second month of the policy or into the second month of the policy. You don't have to worry about it hitting your taken rate, and you've got a customer that's going to call you back. Focus on completing the sale, meaning learn the underwriting guide and sell the correct product. Okay? Completing the sale for us, it's much easier to get to that second month if you've written the right plan, of course, and you know the underwriting guide to get it through underwriting. Help your customers navigate the system. So navigating the system means once they've got the policy in their hands, they've received the booklet, you call them up, you do what's called a policy review. You go through the policy with them, you go through the websites with them, and so on, and that will help you get to that second month, right? They've got the policy in their hand, they look it over. If they do that all by themselves and they read through every detail, you might lose the customer, versus if you take them through it, show them the websites, show them all the benefits. Instead of focusing on the details, they're focusing on the benefits. You're going to have a happy customer. Stay connected with the client for sure. Every month I get a report. In fact, I got it today. I get a report from Bill Wood saying, hey, these are the taken rates. When you have a taken rate that's below 60%, they're going to change your advance. So if you're on an 8-month advance, you got a 60% taken rate, you'll stay there. If you've got a 50% taken rate, you're going to come down to maybe a 7-month advance. If you got anything below a 50% taken rate, you're going to go to a 6-month advance. It affects your weekly income, it affects your monthly income, it affects your lead flow, it affects everything. So things not to do. Don't stop working at issued. The kind of, hey, I got paid, I'm done, right? No, stick with the client until the second month. Don't stop working at taken, because when that policy is taken and they pay the first month, if they have got a 10-day free look, they can call up and say, hey, I want that policy canceled, please send me a refund. Then all of a sudden it hits the not taken status. Don't get discouraged if you're not improving fast enough. As I mentioned in yesterday's video, we're 2 months behind. So make sure this month, the only thing you can control is what you're doing right now. So stay in focus, stay in control of what you're doing right now. Make sure that those policies are getting issued. Stay very diligent in doing so. And in a couple of months, it'll affect your take-in rate. Of course, don't worry about thinking that you're being treated unfairly. Statistics don't lie, numbers don't lie. Everybody's being treated fairly because they're being treated based on their numbers. Don't make excuses. They only satisfy you. If you got a bad take-in rate, it's because you're not doing something correctly. Come to me. Let me see what if you got a bad take-in rate and think you're struggling as a result, talk to me and let me see what I can do to help you. Don't blow this off. Okay, I like that. Don't develop analysis paralysis. Don't spend too much time looking at your take-in rate. Focus on it during every sale. Is this person going to stay with me? Am I going to be able to get them through that second month? Stay focused on that, but don't keep looking at your take-in rate all day, every day. Don't try to be perfect. You don't need 100% take-in rate. Just be excellent. An excellent take-in rate would be anything greater than 60%. Don't stop improving. Your take-in rate is important to your career. You do have influence over your take-in rate. We want you to have a high take-in rate, and you can use the tools to help improve and control your performance. When you're intentional about it, it will improve for sure. Keep up with how you're doing because our team's pretty awesome. Our take-in rate is on the rise right now, and we're doing it because we're staying focused on it. Okay, so if you have any questions about that, go to your training, put them down in that system. We have in the email that comes part of the training, there is a section where you can go in and fill out a form.